Welcome to the Calls with Clients podcast, episode 16. Greg Winters here. With this call, we're talking to a gentleman that has a rescue dog that was actually abused and neglected. And since he's had it, it's been kind of fearful and has become aggressive as well. We have started working with this individual, so be on the lookout for updates on our social media. Thanks for listening, and never forget, change is possible. Dennis, it's Greg Winters with Personal Dog Training. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, nice to meet you. I heard good things from Stacy.
Oh, good. She's a good liar. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll let her know, man.
I've known her for a while, and then the dogs thing and helping her with her puppies recently. Yeah, she's a great person.
Yeah, she says you do a really great job. And
oh, cool.
My little girl, Joan.
Joan, okay.
She seems to be really reactive and can be aggressive.
Okay.
And I just want some help with that. I guess I don't know what to do about it.
Sure. And I specialize in behavior problems, and for 15 years I've been coming into homes, and I noticed very early in my career that my industry doesn't have any direct answers. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's a lot of roundabout and kind of cookie cutter stuff, honestly, that doesn't deal with the problems. And I don't, because of my background as somebody from Philadelphia, we're kind of straight shooters, and we want to make sure we're giving people the right stuff. So tell me a little bit about Joan so we can talk through what some of her problems are. How old is she, what kind of breed, and some more detail about, I guess, what kind of issues you're experiencing.
Yeah, she is, she's a rescue dog from the pound.
Okay.
The county pound. Got her a little less than a year ago. She experienced some trauma. I don't know what, but I don't think it was good. She was found, according to the pound's notes, in a crate.
Okay.
Her legs is zip tied.
Okay.
So, the first, week or so that I had her here, it wasn't like that typical rescue dog heartwarming story. You bring her home and she's all happy. It's just, she was very just checked out. She would let you pet her, but it was tolerable. She
didn't know what it was at all.
Yeah, and she was just very checked out.
Okay.
And I've got a roommate in the back, and we were taking care of her, and then she bonded with me as my dog. And some of the behavioral problems I see with her is every time she sees, his name is Mark, he comes in, she wants to bite his face off, and she's 10 pounds.
Okay.
She's a cross between a terrier and what I was told a long-haired dachshund.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny. I specialize with these. It's interesting. I specialize with dogs that have been through whatever, and some of that is extremely neglected backgrounds, abuse, bumped around, maybe feral on some degree or another, which we'll talk about. And then I also do specialize with little dogs. Everybody thinks, just because I am known to be a dog expert, and I work with puppies, and I work with dogs that have done horrible things, but that doesn't exclude the little ones. I have a little one here that's staying with me. I have a lot of clients that become boarders. And so every vacation, their dogs come and stay for the rest of their lives, honestly. Wow. Some of these dogs are little weird ones that had backgrounds like you're starting to describe. And as we start to talk about Joan, we'll figure out Joan sounds like a severe neglect case. Dude wasn't raised properly, potentially. Maybe didn't have access to people. And then not getting access to somebody like me who knows how to go at these things more directly. It's it becomes crossing your fingers hoping you can help this little dog change. But one of the things I teach is, and this dog Tank I work with, this one too that's at my house, Skipper, he was wandering the streets and limping, and clearly once we got him went into a home, got adopted, and likes his owners, but wanted to growl and bite the ankles of everybody else and growl at them and all that stuff, right? And as I started to get to know him and teach him some things, it's clear he was in a home, and he was with a bunch of other dogs, and they fought with each other, and he learned to mark and finally fight a little bit, and he's the one that literally got kicked out in the street. That's why he ended up having spine problems, we found out later. He literally had back problems that we fixed. And but there's like you don't know what this dog's been through. So okay, so give me a little bit more about her. So she doesn't really interact with anybody outside of a few people, or
No, really not.
Okay.
I'm not married. I don't have a serious relationship right now, and she doesn't really interact. She gets along with other dogs.
okay,
I've taken her to my around family, and she'll warm up to the family. Right, I've had to go on trips where I was gone for a week or two, and she'll warm up to my mom or my sister, and she seems to bond with like one person.
okay.
And then but Mark's the only one, for some reason, she's just aggressive with him. Really
Okay, she may just decided to trigger. Sometimes they make a decision and you don't know how to reverse engineer it, so you're stuck with it. It can be that simple. Maybe he made a wrong move, but also it could be just the dog triggered on him. And again, I'll show
I know
you.
what he did.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I know what he did.
Yeah,
He gave her a bath.
Okay.
He didn't talk to me. He decided one day to give her a bath.
Yeah, and that's again, that shows you that there's overall. I'm looking at it. How old do we think Joan is?
She's
Overall?
She's between 1 and 2.
Okay, so we want to get. She's got a potentially long life ahead of her.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure she gets the quality of life. And what I'm helping we're keying in on is that I can tell that she's missed key social development things that cause these behaviors, right? And I'll help you learn how to re-engineer them. So this dog definitely has hand and touch sensitivity. So it lets you pet it and lets the people at the sides it likes pet it and do things to it and come at it frontally. But really, it's got a major problem with all of that. It never learned how to accept affection and frontal contact and eye contact from a lot of people. So I'll teach you a behavior-based command I developed called the wait and relax command that is also used for this hand sensitivity and touch sensitivity. So we can get at this. We can start to work on this right away. And when I get you to understand these totally different concepts that are not in dog training anywhere, unfortunately, and then we can start to get, listen, the dogs, I don't care how little they are, we're going to put a leash on them, a collar around their neck. If they growl at stuff, we're going to try to correct them for it and see how far that gets us. We do try to correct for things, knowing that I have a thing called the 3 correct rule, which is you can't correct through everything, and it has to be an effective correction. You can't just yell. And if you're yelling no 3 times and it's not working, or anything you're doing, if it doesn't work by the 3rd time, stop. And because there's something else going on, right? So, and then we can start to get at some of these underlying issues and then re-exposing her to things. Working on boundaries. Dog like her, it's another thing you're kind of describing in between the lines, the sentences of what you're saying is, this dog will decide it likes somebody, but then turn around and be weird with everybody else again, all over. So that shows you that it's about boundaries, believe it or not. Like the dog, you can look at my Instagram, all this stuff. I let dogs on the couches and they sleep in beds, and I have all these dogs here and they're trained. They're all up on the couches together because they don't compete with each other and they don't have any weird sensitivities, right? If they do, we'd be working on it so they can be together that way.
Yeah, and she's a smart dog.
Okay.
Which is good and bad.
Well, it's going to be really good for our purposes because she's going to realize unless she's really in a panic phase, a lot of the things. Some of these dogs, I met one a couple weeks ago that was 3 or 4 years old and been bumped around and was smart but had not ever had a leash around its neck. So even little things like that can be hard for the dog to figure out.
Yeah, like Joan. It took a lot for me to get a leash on her because into training, she's not great on a leash, but she'll walk. She doesn't pull much.
Well, that's showing you. So, there's something I talk about real quick. They'll give you a book and it'll be 20 pages about the social development of a puppy. You don't need 20 pages. A lot of it's unnecessary information and kind of jibber jarble, right? But it is simple like this: from 0 to about 3 months, 3.5 months, most dogs aren't scared of anything. So that's why they should be taken out of their kennels and held by people and loud noises all around them, especially when they're young, 0 to 8 weeks, 10 weeks. But again, this dog probably in that stage was not being handled by people even. So that's the beginning of really being behind because of neglect, behavioral neglect and social development really takes. And then they start getting curious. The next phase they would start getting, so those dogs get scared earlier of things. So I'll see the dog that's only 12 weeks 10 weeks. It's like this dog's a little weird. Where's it been? I can tell. I've seen enough puppies, and I've been around all these dogs, and I can see an 8-week-old puppy and start to question like, where's this thing been? Why is it? Or even 10 weeks, and then they get around. If they're normal and they're being handled and bumped around and talked to, around 3.5 months they start getting scared of things and overly curious, like want to jump on it, bark at it. And that's where you need my type of training to smooth it all out and just go through, like, at best, an overexcited, curious phase. The dogs I raise never have to go through the fear stage at all.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's great.
we're going to recreate all this, though, because that's why she needs to learn something like a place command. Like, hey, don't follow me. Don't come into my space and act like we're feeling the same way. This is where dogs are different. They'll come into your space and say, oh, yeah, we're both being weird now. And you're like, oh, I thought I was just loving you. No, I'm guarding you. And it's true. It's how they really are thinking, and I'll help you continue to focus in on that. You say, hey, don't use me to be weird. There's your place bed. Sit there. You're not allowed to growl or bark or charge at the thing. It's not going to touch you either. And learn to tolerate these things better, and learn to walk past things with a certain type of structure, and get her to respond and pack that curiosity. And the big way to get that curiosity back is not have things come at her, and to be able to expose her to things in a way that allows her not to hide or be fearful. Yeah.
Yeah, because she's gotten like the leash on. When I first put it on her, she was like a cat on the leash. I mean, it was wild.
That just shows you. Yeah, that's again, that nobody even tried to do the normal stuff that they do to dogs, and she was like, already. By the time you got her, she's potentially even close to a year old. So that's a whole year without anything or anything proper. It's good that she likes. It's good that she likes other dogs, because at least she don't have to deal with that.
No, like, she's really good with other dogs. She'll play with them and like hang out with them, and she doesn't start fights, or anything like that. So I know she had her brother was also up for adoption.
She was around other dogs growing up, and the other dogs didn't traumatize each other too badly, which can happen a lot of times when the dogs are. Because she was clearly with other dogs growing up, also unstructured, but they happen to fall into not torturing each other. But most of the time they become aggressive with other dogs because they've also had bad experiences, and so that's good. And so I think that her prognosis on paper is really, really, really good, because you just got to be safe at first and make sure that, she doesn't go after me, and we'll get her kind of focused on, we'll work with her, I'll show you some things, and some of these dogs, you kind of show them, you're going to correct them for trying to bite you, or you correct them for, say, going after something on the ground, and then when they try to growl at you, and she sounds like a smart one, they'll be like, okay, I'm not going to go after that guy anymore. And I'm like, I'm not here to confront you anyway. I'm never the dog trainer that's there to like battle your dog, right? But
she's smart. I mean, one of her, she's obsessed with my neighbor's yard.
Okay.
And so I had to get her to not run over there, and because she would get so worked up about what's going on, she'd forget to go to the bathroom.
Oh yeah.
And then so she'll like run out there, and I'll be like, hey, and then she'll just U-turn into the yard, and then go take care of business, and then she'll sneak, she'll sneak past me to go run over to the fence to go look at my neighbor's yard.
Okay, good. That's showing a high level of intelligence. Yeah.
It's hilarious, man.
And that's like once we get on the same page, and she realizes that we're both doing the same thing, and that it leads to her not having to be weird. And if she's again it sounds like you've done a lot of work to get her over the deep trauma you saw her at. And again, these specialized things I want to show you, they do work. I'm still amazed that. Luckily, I came from this creative background before I got into this, and I started to see the patterns. But be able to create some things that can really help. That's the pride and joy of my life.
I feel like I need training as well, because I'm not well versed in that kind of stuff, and my way to get her over the trauma was just to love her to death.
And that's all you know how to do, and it's all you really know how to do, and it only gets us so far. And it's not about the love, that we're taking love away. It's just that you need again, the kid may need to go to a tutor or learn a certain skill, or it's time to learn how to play the piano, or you really do have to. You're a great kid, but you're spending too much time following me around, and you need to be a little bit more independent. That dependency, and this is a concept, one of the last concepts I'll leave you with, and then we can make sure I answer any questions. But This is one of the things that dogs, they don't always think like us, but they kind of do. There's a lot of them that's like us. I say about 50% of their thinking is just like us. But the other half is them, and that's kind of like my mission to try to study them and figure out how can we help them when they're thinking different than we are, because how can we help them if we're on the same, not on the same page? And sometimes they read things differently, and that can lead to them reading things. In this particular case, an important case about when it comes to fear is the oppositism. If you let a fearful dog come into your space and you're going to try to coax them and love them out of being fearful or aggressive, that's where it will never work. In the human world, it could. And that's where we run into, it's not just different, it's the opposite. You make it worse. So like you go, what should I do? I want you to love your dog, but love it in a way that's not contributing to these things. And I'll point out for the first time that like the dog's scared and charges at somebody, you're going to stop the dog. No. The dog gets scared and tries to run and hide behind you. No. The dog does whatever the hell it is. You're going to be addressed. I'm going to tell you what to do. And the physical patterns. When you make a dog do things physically, they'll start to change mentally.
Okay. I love that. I do. She's like the sweetest girl in the world, of course.
I think it's going to be. You have to be careful first because you said that she likes to go after some people, but she on paper is the type of dog that and within 5 minutes of me being 10 minutes of me being there, we're kind of like, I'm not worried. But she only likes to go. So she's never really bitten anybody.
Oh, she's bitten. Yeah, she bit Mark.
How bad?
Didn't draw blood.
Did draw blood, and then has she tried to go after anybody else?
She tried to go after my mom.
Okay.
Because she's got this thing too, where, like, my mom was hanging out on the couch with us, and they were getting along. But when my mom, and she's done this to other people as well, and I'm cognizant of it now. When you get up to leave and turn your back to her, she'll go after you.
Interesting. Yeah, that happens a lot. Either moving away and they bite. You decide to create space and they bite sometimes. Like they know that you're trying to get them off you. And another sometimes is you're patting them and then you touch the wrong spot and they bite. It turns out they're body sensitive somewhere. So like So that's why I would keep her off everybody for now. We're going to be getting together soon and.
Yes.
That will allow us to start working on these things more directly, and I may do a few things with her. Like I don't believe in directly confronting dogs. I try to correct them and see how far we can get, but I'm not going to be hey and be like But one of the things sometimes I bring in a bite sleeve, and if she's coming forward and wants to bite, I just put the bite sleeve out and see what she really wants to do. And sometimes it diffuses them because they're like, okay, you're trying to bite that, it didn't work. Can we move on to the real thing? Because I'm anti-bite protection, but I need ways to protect myself and sometimes gauge a bite. So I may bring something like that in just to block her from touching me. So if she comes into my space, I'm going to be like, no, and I'm going to put the sleeve down and block her. Because even if she likes me, I'm going to want her to give me space until I can. If I can't correct her or get her to stop something, and I can't ask for space safely from her, right? I won't let her come into my space personally yet. And that can happen really quick. It's just like, these little dogs are like, oh, another person I'm either charging at or I'm getting in their space to be weird with. And I'm like, I'm not going to be either of those. So we'll help you get back to the thing. So I don't know if you heard that we do the first initial sessions $125. And then I'll put you into one of the private training programs that range from 3 sessions for $375, 5 sessions for $550, 7 sessions for $700. I do offer a variety of day training, board and train, but everybody's got to start off with private training, and most people, that's what they do. But, we want her, if you need continued socialization, or, again, she needs to be re-exposed to, like, people in the bigger world, maybe, in some ways. So going out and doing some field trips. Like, me and Stacy took her dogs out a bunch of times to do stuff, and do it with structure,
Should we meet here first? Or
Yeah, I come to you guys. Yeah, I come to you.
Yeah, she's on 11 here, and I think it's because she thinks she's protected me in her territory.
Yeah, she's territorial and she's guardy and she's whatever. Sometimes they get like a hive mentality too,
Yeah. Okay.
Like the little dog that jumps on top of the furniture and is barking on you on top of the couch. It's like, okay, why don't you start by getting off the couch and shutting up? Nice to see you too.
Yeah, great. It's been great talking to you. I feel a little better because I've been looking for some trainers, and I don't need to teach her to sit and shake.
I know. You're speaking to the choir. I meet people that have not hired a dog trainer and they've needed one for years, and they've tried periodically, but they never get the conversation that makes them comfortable that they're doing the thing that they need to do. So, yeah.
I figure I need some training too to get her to react the way I want her to. And my ultimate goal is, like you mentioned too, she's got a long life ahead of her, and I want everybody else to be able to pet her and love her and see how sweet she really is, instead of this little reactive dog that's just like, get away.
Well, you can see that love is not going to change this dog all by itself, and with the history of neglect and abuse, it's important that we start helping this dog the right way. Thanks for listening, and please subscribe on our YouTube channel at Personal Dog Training 1. You can go there and you can get the latest episodes of the Calls with Clients podcast. Thanks for listening, and never forget that change is possible when you use the communication command approach.